Brian's Budget Garage. We're going to talk about fixing error code. First thing you need is a laptop. The second thing you're going to need is an ELM 327 interface. I got this one off eBay for about 15 bucks. They do have wireless ones right now, but or Bluetooth. Make sure that yours works. I got a cheapie. Doesn't seem to work with any of the software. So you need both of these things. This plugs into the car. This reads the data. You do need to have software. We'll talk about that when I show it to you. So you ever have this happen? You'll get in your car and all of a sudden that ridiculous, stupid check engine light comes on. What do? Okay, if you noticed, I started the car, and of course I don't have my seatbelt on, but the other one, the check engine light over here, that big yellow one, says check engine. When you have that, that means it has detected an error. The computer has detected some type of error. How do you know how to do that? Now, one place you can go is to most parts stores, and they will actually look at the error code for you and tell you what it means. But you can also do it yourself. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, you're going to find the connector, the OBD2 connector, underneath the dash. Okay, this is a 2000 Crown Victoria. So sometimes it'll be over here, sometimes it'll be over here. This one's actually right there. So the first thing you want to do is plug in your OBD2 cable, or otherwise known as the ELM 327 interface. You're going to plug it into the connector here. Almost all cars past 1990 have this connector. So, well, maybe 95. So you plug that in first. That will be talking to your computer. So the next thing you want to do is plug in the other end of the cable, which is a USB connector, to your computer. Okay, so take your USB cable, plug it in somewhere, wherever your USB cable goes on your computer. And of course it slides down the thing because it is slippery. Alright, the next thing you're going to want to do is open up your software to talk to the OBD2 connectors, or essentially to the car. What I've got is touch scan, so I'm going to go ahead and open up touch scan. I actually have two different types, touch scan and forescan. Touch scan is something I bought to look at things. The forescan is a shareware at this point for Fords. So, okay, now what you're going to want to do is actually turn on the car and try to connect to your computer. So we'll go ahead and we start the car. Key in ignition, of course. Start the car. And of course it pings a lot. And then we are going to connect up here on the button. See where it says connect here? I'm going to go connect. It's going to try to connect to your car and talk to it. Okay, so it's now connected because now the disconnect came up. So let's go ahead and look at our dashboard just to make sure it's actually reading something. So yes, we have RPM. We're not going anywhere, but we have RPM. If you raise the RPM, that should go up. Okay, so it's going up. You see instant miles per gallon. You see total miles per gallon. Trip MPG. You can set a trip on this. Fuel, the amount of gallons, and fuel gallons per hour. Okay. You can also see a temperature at this point, 93, and the load is 21. The full load would be full throttle essentially. Okay, and theoretically full throttle going down the highway would be full load, and idling would be nothing. Well, it's some algorithm, so we'll have to not worry about it. What we're really interested in, though, now you can actually set monitors here, different monitors, what you want to look at. You can look at the logs So you can actually see here, calculated load value, time RPM. Okay. Now what we're really interested in here is the diagnostics. Diagnostics says, okay, we got an error code. Here's our error code stored. P0442. 0442. It gives you a small thing, evaporative emission system leak detected. What that usually means is your gas cap is either loose or bad. I've actually replaced mine, so we probably got some kind of a slight leak. What it does is the cars actually do either a slight pressure or a vacuum in the gas tank to check to see if there's a leak, and that's what it's actually complaining about. Okay, so but if you notice, that's the only errors you see. And this is what the guys at the parts store will show you, or will tell you. Now we can actually clear it here because this error is not a big error. It's not, the engine's not going to fall apart. The wheels aren't going to fall off. So this is just an ambiguous old car error is what this is. So this one's not too much. You can, if you're online, do some searches. Look for fixes. It could be a leak. Could be a sensor. Who knows? So it's not something I'm going to worry about. I just want to clear it so it doesn't have that thing on the dashboard. So you can save this to the disk. I'm not going to bother. I'm going to clear trouble codes right here. Touch scan detected the engine is running. Attempting to do it might cause trouble. Are you sure you want to continue? Sure, yes. This will reset all of these things. Yes. There are no pending stored codes, so it just cleared the code. If you look on the dash, my little light went out. Isn't that nice? So you no longer have the light blinding you at night. So that's actually how you clear the codes. But if you notice, there's not any other. This is generic, so it doesn't show you much else. So what I want to do is actually show you ForScan, which actually gives you a lot more information than this. Okay, now we're going to actually look at ForScan. Right here is my ForScan. Looks like a little car. It says ForScan, meaning Ford Scanning Tool. Again, this is a shareware thing. So it's now, of course, just like the other one, you have to try to connect to the thing. And if you try to connect with it not running, it's going to say, nah, there's nothing to connect to. I don't even see a car. I don't see anything. So what you have to do, again, is start the car. I'm not being so much with my seatbelt on. Okay, now once the car's started, we can now connect, and that's the little button down here. Actually, I'm sorry, the next one. Alright, we're going to interface, errors checking. Ford Crown Victoria, it already has been connected to this. 2000, it knows the engine, the year, and everything. So this ForScan is a lot more information in it. So yes, I want to use that one. Transmission, gear, automatic. Gives you all kinds of information. What it's doing is checking all the different modules in the car. This car has 6 or 7 different modules, which are little computers. And so it's talking to all the computers in the car, seeing what's going on. So you can actually go look at those modules. Let's see, right here. Here's all the different modules. So we got powertrain module, passive anti-theft system, electronic automatic temperature control, on ODB2 onboard diagnostic, which is what we actually connect to. Anti-lock brakes, and then the ISO is the driver's door module, lighting control panel, electronic crash sensor. So those are all separate little computers inside this car which can be talked to. So let's now, of course, we've already cleared the code, so you won't see any generic codes. These are my profiles of all my Crown Vics. So let's go to the log. Okay, here, if you look, there is some errors or some questions. Checking COM4, checking BDC bats. Alright, so if you want to open up one of these, actually you can save these and look at them later. So this is TCM P100. So that is actually an error. but it's coming from, it's not a generic error, it is an actual Ford error. So you can actually get more information out of this. So that one is saying DTCs and PCM 1000. So we do have some errors, DCCs and EACTs. So let's look at that. Okay. So here are the errors that came out of the different modules. So the PAT system doesn't look like it has any diagnostic trouble codes. So let's go down to the next one. No diagnostic trouble codes. OD2, no errors there. ABS, no errors. Now PCM P1000. That looks like, so this test did not, system readiness did not complete. We don't know why. Well, I'll probably rerun those. And DCM none, and none, and none. So the only one that actually has some stuff is really that one. It did not finish the test. Oh, actually, no, this one also has an EATS, the blend door failure. Don't know what that means, you can look it up. I believe it's because there's an issue with my air conditioning and heater system. Someday I'm going to have to fix that. And this one says, at the time last clear, the ignition was switched on without any key code being read. So basically we connected before we actually turned it on. So that's really what it's talking about. Okay. Now you can look at you can set up a dashboard here. I'm not going to go through that. Here is some test results, self-test. So tests that it has done. Okay. And then here you can modules, reset all adapters, reprogram, service procedures. You can look at the logs on them. Not much service procedures. Right. And here is module configuration. I'm not going to mess with that because that seems dangerous. You could really screw your car up. You don't want to do that. And general connection. Okay, this is just some setup information, which you really don't need. And for scan, this looks at your license key and stuff like that. Okay. But again, it's at this point they don't charge you for anything, so. Alright, stop. I gotta figure out how to run the tests. Hold on. I forgot how to do this. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and run one of these tests, the most, I don't know, exciting, whatever it is. We're gonna actually run the second one down. Key on, engine running test. So I have the key on, the engine's running, and it's going to run through some tests. The engine will rev up. You'll be asked to do a few things. It's testing all the sensors. So let's go ahead and run that test. Okay, and how you run it is go down to the bottom, hit the play button, and it tells you some things. Make sure engine's warmed up. Make sure vehicle's not moving, it's in park, and all that fun stuff. It doesn't want to be running around and crashing into people, so that's not good. So let's say okay. We have all that stuff, and now you hear the engine actually accelerating, and it asks you to do something. Press and release the brake pedal. So I'm going to press and release the brake pedal. I'm going to turn the steering wheel 1/2 turn and then release it. And then I'm going to cycle the overdrive switch, which is up here, on, off. Then we go back and hit OK. And it will continue with the test. And the engine will accelerate and go down, and the engine will move a lot, or RPM will move a lot. So it's testing all the different sensors, looking for any problems. Now realize, again, this is shareware software, so somebody from Ford developed it, I believe, but there's no guarantee on this kind of stuff. So we're at 62%.
Okay, I'm not going to show all of these. So let's see, what do we got? We actually have an error, some kind of error code. TCM Air Code P1000. This is what we saw earlier, actually. Onboard diagnostics ODB system readiness test not complete. So some kind of diagnostics not quite working right, not sure why. Follow the routines in the service manual to resolve. Now, again, it's referencing some Ford documentation, which you might be able to find online, you might not. So just be aware of that. Let's try another test. I'm not going to do all of them. Let's just test something else. Let's see what we got. Let's try the PCM output test. This one. Okay. So again, we go down to play. Output mode. When entering ODM, the output's turned off. The outputs can be turned off and without controlling cooling fans. The low and high speed cooling fans may be turned on separately without energizing other outputs. And you say, okay. So this is just for the air conditioning. Please shut off the engine, alright? But keep the key on position. I'm keeping it on position. You have to actually turn it back on. Hopefully it has not. Press OK. Please select the operation on. So command output on. OK. Now command speed fan on. Press OK. And it turns the fan on. And command speed fan on low. Okay. So we're testing the vent fan and high speed. Let's see what high speed does. Yep. And then say exit. Say okay. So that tested everything. You notice there's test complete, found DTC, the P. Again, it has that same error code that it really doesn't like. So there is some error in this car somewhere. I'll have to hunt that down. Do we want to try another test? Sure. We'll try one more test. See what else is interesting. Let's actually go look at the different modules. Let's look at the modules, see what module we want to. It'd be fun to work with. Lighting control module. Let's try that. LCM. Alright. Go back to the tests. LCM. Let's do the LCM lighting control module test. And it should turn on some lights. And I will hold the camera. So, because it's going to turn lights on and off. And I will turn these lights off. And because we'll leave these map lights. I don't believe they're touched. So let's go ahead and press play. Make sure the following conditions. Vehicle is not running. Make sure all the doors are ensure brake pedal is not depressed. Turn signal lamps on off. Rotate dimmer switch off. Courtesy lamps. Oh, courtesy lamps. So I guess I do have to turn these off. Alright. And headlamps off. Do not activate vehicle switches during this test. Okay. So here we go. So it's turning on lights and notice doing all kinds of weird stuff inside the car. And 100% done. So, suspect driver seatbelt switch light control module. Well, that's interesting. I guess maybe I wasn't supposed to be having my seatbelt connected. Short battery driver. So, let's test that out. Let me undo my seatbelt and we'll try it again. Let's rerun that test. Undo the seatbelt. Here we go. And press OK. Okay. It says 100%, and you notice there's no error codes that came up. So it was because I had my seatbelt in. So that's how you actually use software to help find problems in your vehicle. You still might have to go online and look up error codes, but at least it'll give you some information about what you might want to look at for your vehicle. Hope this helps. Thank you for watching.